one of the oldest road racing facilities across the entire United States, plays host to the only road course event on the entire Modified Motor Tour schedule for 2025. And it is here at Lime Rock Park in beautiful Lakeville, Connecticut, where these modified stars will take on 25 laps around the twists, turns, and elevation changes that scatter across this 1.5-mile road course that has just seen so many great races over the years, and these modifieds, I expect, will put on a great show for these great New England fans. And alongside me to bring you all the action for today's race is James Ellison with us once again. And this track has seen a lot of great races over the years, but there's a bit of an unknown. These modifieds have never taken on a road course in the season before, and the question remains, from what we've seen so far, can anyone stop that 98?
That is a loaded question, and a lot of unknowns mixed in there for the fact, like you said, modifieds have not done a road course, so this is going to be really interesting to see. And we talked about it the last race out. It is no surprise who's at the top of the charts, but we'll get to that in a moment. This course is really interesting. It's definitely different from any road course that the bigger series go to, and case in point, it's drastically different from Watkins Glen, which we just got done with last week for all the top three divisions. So I'm really curious to see how these cars will handle, how these drivers handle it.
Absolutely, it is going to be a real test for these drivers to see how they can handle the twists and turns of Lime Rock Park. It can unnerve even the most seasoned of drivers, and a lot of these guys are taking on road racing as a whole for the very first time. As we can now bring you the starting lineup for today's 25 laps of action, and as we expected leading up to this race, it is the 98 of Christiaan van Heerden on pole position after that super win at Elko last time out. He is riding a huge wave of momentum, and he carries that to his second consecutive pole, the third he's accumulated this season. But I would expect the guys lining up all around him: Chase James, Ahmed in the 64, Victor Reyes in the 27. They're all looking for big days. None of them have won a race in the modifieds, and they would love to try and deny Van Heerden the chance to go back-to-back.
Oh, absolutely. He put on a clinic last time out. Just flat out held onto that lead once he got out there and just did not let go. If he can do the same thing again, I think we might have to let Levins know he may have to worry a little bit.
Yeah, because when you consider that the gap between those two, 27 points going into this race, and Blevins starts all the way down in 7th place while Van Heerden gets the pole, it's going to be very interesting to see if those positions hold firm, where the points will cycle out when this is all said and done. But with that being said, we have 24 drivers lined up on the grid for this historic race at Lime Rock Park, and we are ready to bring you that action now. For the first time in Modified Motor Tour history, we take on the right-hand turns at Lime Rock Park, and the green flag getting set to get this race underway. Stay tuned. The pace car is already pulled off. The field of 24 pulls up onto the main straightaway, the Sam Posey Straight, here at Lime Rock Park. A very historic racetrack, been around forever, and now it plays host to the modifieds for the very first time. The field starts to accelerate, the green flag is out, and for 25 laps we get underway at Lime Rock, and the field already starting to accelerate. Chase James got to the first corner first, but Van Heerden's going to have that inside line as we make our way all the way through Big Bend. They're fanning out quite a bit, but I think, well, actually, Chase James is going to make a fight of this as we head through the left-hander.
Yeah, we thought Van Heerden was going to have it easy, but not quite the case. But see it right here, that 98 did go ahead and get the lead like we expected.
And into the chicane that was placed here temporarily for these modifieds. We would have taken the big course here, but we didn't want to cause any chaos, or any more so than we're seeing right now. Look at this.
Speaking of chaos.
3 wide through the chicane at the back of the field. They settle that out pretty quickly. through the downhill section we go, back onto the main straightaway. The laps go by quickly here at Lime Rock as far as road courses are concerned, and across the line they go to complete the first lap. Van Heerden out in front by 0.7 of a second.
Yeah, he wants to run away with this. We talked about it. He's got the lead. He just has to focus, make sure he does what he needs to do. And quickly going back to that 3 wide in the chicane, we've seen in Superstar, Nitro, and Turbo Trucks that does not work going 3 wide on a road course sometimes. So it's good that they were able to settle it out, but who's to say they may not try it again this early on?
Well, they made their way through pretty cleanly that time as we blast back our way through to the West Bend. Downhill we go towards to complete the end of the second lap of this race. And Van Heerden only seems to be getting a bigger and bigger lead every time he comes by onto the Samposi Straight. Out of the final corner now we go, as it looks as though we're looking a little further back. Yeah, both of the North Pro Motorsport cars, they started 11th and 12th in this race. Now they're right at the back. Something must have happened at the around on the second lap that really slowed their progress. They're now at the tail end of the field after starting just outside the top 10.
Yeah, that's not what you want to see. Even in this series, you don't want to see that because it's real hard, especially on these road courses. We've seen it. You've seen it in the upper series. That can be real difficult, and it can be real disheartening too.
As meanwhile, Luke Evans trying to make a move on Nicholas Santiago. That's for 5th position. You also saw Evans' teammate Dallas Miller in the 83. He was also caught up in the mess with the North Pro cars. He is also deep in this field, and he started this race in 10th position. So something must have transpired. It looks like it was going into Big Bend at the start of the lap that really slowed those guys down. They're now deep in this field, and there is not, like you said, it's very hard to pass here. There is not a lot of opportunity for these guys to recover from that.
Yeah, and that's going to be tough, but still got a few more races to go, and still got quite a few laps in this race to go as well to try to make something happen. And it's a road course; you never know what's going to happen, even in modifieds.
Yeah, and when you consider that both Bayless and Davis, the 2 North Pro cars, they entered this race 4th and 6th in the point standings going into this week. That makes things even harder for them because they were within striking distance, weren't they, of the championship lead, but that's going to be quickly wiped out as a result of that early skirmish on lap 2. But we're already on lap number 5, and believe it or not, the gap is actually still within a second. Chase James in that 49 is doing a really good job hanging on to it.
Absolutely. He's not letting Van Heerden get away because he knows that if he lets him get too far ahead, and even if that 98 were to somehow slip up at some point, if he has a big enough advantage, it's not going to do any good for the competition to catch back up.
No, but meanwhile, further back, Victor Reyes, Van Heerden's teammate in the 27, he did a good job getting by Ali Ahmed in the 64 to move himself up into 3rd position and down to the final spot on the podium for this 27. This whole team's been really on an upturn of form as of late. I believe they both got a podium at Elko last time out as well. So a 2nd consecutive double podium for the team, very much what the doctor ordered for them. As Seth Bayless at the tail end of the train, he looks as though he's picked up some speed and he's about to catch his teammate Jack Davis.
Yeah, and that's like I said, it's early enough in the race. You don't want to give up if you fall behind, but at the same time, that even with this smaller field compared to the other 3 series, it's a bit of a hill to climb. No pun intended.
Well, we got plenty of those, like the one we're going to face right now, up the hill towards the chicane for the back of the field. The rest of the field's heading their way down the hill once again towards the Samposi Straight. A lot of history at this racetrack, and we're making our own right here with our first ever modified race at Lime Rock. Van Heerden's led comfortably through it from the start, and now he's extended that gap over Chase James by now 1.4 seconds.
And it seems like right now all Chase James can do is hope that he can prevent the teammates from getting a 1-2 in addition to a podium. Says you see right back there, the 27. They got some work to do to to get this to be a 1-2 finish, but I don't think Van Heerden's too worried about what goes on behind him right now.
Yeah, he just doesn't. He just shouldn't be making any mistakes right now. Just keep it on the island, keep it smooth, keep it steady, keep gaining time over those around you. As this looks to be the closest battle on the track within the top 10 at least. This is between Juan Diaz in the 6 and Elias Bershey in the 11 for 8th position. Bershey's actually done a great job catching the 6 car from quite a ways back. And this is happening about 7.5 seconds off the lead. But both of these guys have had strong runs this season. Bershey, of course, a previous winner in the series. Diaz, of course, came so close to a win in Huntsville before Jack Davis took it away from him. But this is another guy expected to do well here, Diaz. He's a really good road racer. He's getting better all the time on the ovals, and I would expect him to be really good when the next season kicks off, because he has a year of experience now, and I would expect that to get even better.
Yeah, but don't look now. We're looking behind the 11 there, 25 of Colby Bogdansky. He's had a really good season himself so far. Started 13th in this race and got himself in the top 10, trying to keep himself at least faintly in the championship right here.
Yeah, definitely. That whole team's had a good run. They're currently 10th and 11th at the moment. As we look at our scoring pylon, that Seth Bayless actually did make the pass on Jack Davis to move himself up into 23rd position. On the fastest lap point, that is currently in the possession of Van Heerden. He set a 52.08 earlier in this race, which is a very fast lap, only a couple tenths off the pole time. So Van Heerden clearly knows what he's doing, and we're about to complete lap 9, and he's led them all. He's now grown his lead to at least 2 seconds over this 49.
And he's not pushing it too hard. He's just using just enough of that car to be able to grow that lead. He doesn't have a whole lot of pressure right now. Well, he has no pressure right now. I think the only ones who have pressure right now are like this little battle we're seeing starting to heat up here, and what we were seeing going on with the 6, the 11, and a little bit of the 25 back toward the back of the top 10.
Yeah, this battle is going to heat up between Santiago and the 54. Oh, but he goes wide into the chicane. He gets his left sides onto the grass. That's going to let the 64 get well clear of him, and that's going to bring Luke Evans and the 93 back into the conversation. So a costly mistake for Santiago through the chicane has really given himself up in that fight for 4th, and now he's got to defend 5th place. As one thing I've noticed throughout the entirety of this race, as they head into Big Bend to start the lap, they just dip their lefts into the grass there, just to get that little bit of a wider entry into the corner. Every little bit counts here.
Absolutely. You don't want to give up too much, no matter where you are in the field, or what series it is. You give an inch, somebody behind you might take a mile, and next thing you know, you're losing several spots if there's enough people behind you.
And as Santiago holds off Evans into the chicane once again, we were looking there at Ashton Blevins. He's started 7th. That's where he continues to run. And as things run right now, his points gap over Van Heerden would be slashed almost in half by the time we leave here, if the positions hold the way they are now. We're about to take it a halfway lap. Next time by, we'll take halfway. As the gap's pretty much stabilized now at about 2.7 seconds between Van Heerden and James, but the Northborough cars, they're starting to fall off, actually, at the tail end of the field. I'm starting to wonder if their little slide through Big Bend that might have flat spotted their tires or something, because they are not making any progress like I expected.
Yeah, we talked about it. Even with this small field, you don't want to have early struggle at a road course, and you definitely don't want to have it at a short track, which this series goes to mostly what they go to. That it can be a real day ender very early. If it like I said, it's disheartening, but you just got to be able to pick yourself back up and move on from there.
But right now, it continues to be the Christiaan van Heerden show out in front. The gap's still 2.7 seconds. We're about to take halfway. I was a lap early in my earlier assessment, but now we're about to take halfway. And Van Heerden, he's going to lock up the point for most laps led, which if he can hold on to that fastest lap as well, he's on pace for a max points day at Lime Rock. This is a very good showing, as Santiago, he's actually closed the gap once again to the back bumper of the 64. So Santiago's got some speed in that thing. He just needs to find a bit of consistency.
And that's gonna be the big factor. Being able to be fast is great, but if you can't be consistent, what good is that speed?
Absolutely, and speaking of speed, Van Heerden just continues to find more and more of it. He pulls out to a nearly 3-second advantage over Chase James, though it has to be said, this 49 car doing a really good job, all things considered. Chase James entered this race 9th in the points, 4 top 10s on the season in 7 races, and we're hearing he's going to be moving teams next season. He's going to be taking over to 9 at Chanticleer Racing, so good opportunity for James to continue his modified career, and he might even pick up his first win over there if all things go well. But right now he's holding down a solid second place, which I'm sure will make his new team owner KJ Hayes a very happy customer.
That's going to be huge if he can hang on, because like you said, KJ Hayes, his new team owner going forward, that you want to impress even when you've already signed a new deal. So you want to make sure that they made the right decision to sign you. That's always important. And speaking from a team owner standpoint, that's what I look for as well with potential prospects.
Meanwhile, as we make our way through the left-hander, down through the right-hander, onto the back straightaway at Lime Rock, and Santiago has once again closed the gap to Ahmed, but he goes wide at the chicane. That's going to cost him a lot of time again. That seems to be his Achilles heel right there, braking for the chicane. He seems to catch him out a lot, and it's once again put him into the clutches of Luke Evans in the 93.
Yeah, that's the second, third time, something like that's happened. There is something about that chicane that his car does not like, and it's a real shame because he could have easily already been passed for the position that he's been trying to get for pretty much this whole race.
And the thing about it is, I think that 64 is a bit of a cork in the bottle at the moment, because look at the train of cars that are forming up behind him. You got Santiago back there, Luke Evans, Blevins, Diaz, Bershi, Bogdansky. They're all queuing up behind the 64, and I know this has been a really good run for this 64 car. He's yet to get a top 10 this season. This would be his first, and what a way to do it. Start third and finish fourth. That'd be a great day for this team. But unfortunately, he seems to be holding everybody up behind him, and they may start losing their patience about that.
Maybe start losing their patience with him and start making moves against him. But of course, they had to get through each other first.
Oh, and there he goes wide at Big Ben's now too. That car is just developing a push going into the corners, and that's not something you want to have at Lime Rock.
Oh, definitely not. You don't want to have it anywhere, really. But this is certainly road courses are certainly not a place you want that to happen. But he's trying. But like you said, that 64 is just not really causing a freight train of traffic here, but it could happen soon enough.
Yeah, this has got to be so frustrating for Santiago. He knows with the run Van Heerden is having here today, that he's probably going to lose second in the points to this 98 car. So he's got to gather as many points as he can. The problem is he's 8 seconds off the lead, and soon to be 8.9 seconds off the lead for Santiago. That is just a rough day at the office. Even with a top 5, you're still losing points to that 98.
Yeah, you don't want to lose points that like that. It's especially when you're trying to keep a good advantage and hold on. But the way things have gone, it's not going to be horrible, but it's not going to be great either.
And keep in mind as well, Both those guys are currently fighting for a truck ride next year, a very good truck ride for that matter. So whoever beats the other in points, that's who's going to get the call. And the way things are running right now, if Van Heerden were to get his second straight win on the trot, that would get him a huge advantage in that points battle. And there's not much Santiago can do about it right now. He's now 9.2 seconds off the lead. He's gotten top 10s in every race so far this season, and that's likely to continue here today. But when your competition is out there winning races by 4 seconds, that just cannot look good.
Oh, absolutely not. When you're trying your hardest, but yet it seems like it's not enough, that tells you that you need to find something to make sure your hardest is that much better than the others.
Absolutely. It's tough, but Santiago, this is the only road course of the season that he has to worry about Van Heerden crushing him in. And we're going back to the short ovals next time out, so this is not going to be the end of the world, but surely it's going to be a tough road ahead for Santiago as the gap continues to get bigger. It's now 9.8 seconds. As Blevins now goes wide at Big Bend behind Luke Evans. He was doing a good job catching the 93, but, oh man, and look at him slide out of the corner. That's gonna hurt a little bit, and it's amazing. He's actually still within striking distance of the 93 ahead of him.
Yeah, that's gonna be important because every position he could gain from here could give him a chance to kind of minimize the damage that's about to be done here if Van Heerden can hang on and win like it sure looks like he's gonna.
Yeah, we're coming to 5 laps to go. The gap is 4 seconds. Unless there's a huge issue for the 98, I don't see it going any other way than into the hands of Van Heerden. However, Chase James took a 10th out of the lead on that last lap, but that is definitely not going to be enough to catch at this rate. He needs to gain half a second at least, full seconds a lap if he's going to have a chance, and that is just not happening right now.
Yeah, that 98 is too good, too tuned, and that driver too focused, and well, we've talked about it. That road course, some people are just good at them, and others, can be good at them. But you gotta really put a lot of effort into these kind of things.
Santiago goes wide at the chicane again. That opens the door even more for Luke Evans. He's going to try and get the lead, or not the lead, but the lead of this battle, rather, for 5th place going into the West Bend. But he gets onto the grass a little bit in his overeagerness. That lets Santiago repass him and take the place back. Excellent racing further back in the field as we now have 4 laps to go.
Yeah, and it looks like instead of the 64 being that cork in the bottle, it's looking like it's the 54 now, because I think he's just used up what he had to try to get to the 64, and now he's getting the freight train behind it.
Yeah, look at all these cars forming up behind the 54. There's a lot of them back there, including his own teammate, Ashton Blevins. And the 64 is actually starting to pull away a little bit, so I think you're right. That 54 must have burnt his stuff out trying to get to Ali Ahmed, and now he's just holding up everybody behind him in a bid to try and defend a spot in the top 5. But going back to what we were saying about Van Heerden as we're quickly approaching 3 laps to go now, he said he wants to get more oval experience before he goes to a truck. I think he's ready now. He's got an oval win already. He's probably gonna get a road course win here today. I would be very surprised if he does not get a very good deal for a truck next year.
He needs a good deal because you said it. He's ready. He's proving it. He's already proved it on an oval, and now he's getting ready to prove it on a road course. Somebody needs to sign him, because if they don't, and he ends up staying another season of modifieds and someone else gets him, there's going to be at least one, maybe more team owners who are going to regret not signing him for next year.
Yeah, and there's a lot of guys looking for his signature.
There we go.
And here comes Bershey making a move on Juan Diaz for 8th place. And the 11, unlike the 93 earlier, does make the pass stick.
There's Bogdansky, too.
Excellent move from Bershey to move up to 8th place, as we now have only 2 laps to go. But going back to what we were saying about Van Heerden, the main guy looking for his signature, that would happen to be a certain Superstar Series champion and Jeffrey Finguy looking to fill a truck. And what better way to get his attention than by posting back-to-back wins and being the first driver, regardless, to get 2 wins in this series.
Yeah, that'd be something we've already seen. We've already seen a team be the first one to have both drivers win races, and now to have one driver do it, that especially the way it's being done, that would certainly be something to celebrate.
And speaking of celebration, I think it's already started in the pits for the 98 team. He's taken the white flag. We started the final lap. His gap is
Look at that gap.
Yeah, it's 5.2 seconds. All Van Heerden has to do is run 80% the rest of the way, and he's home free.
Yeah, that's well. As soon as he took the pole, I guarantee some people were probably already thinking, "Well, let's see what we can get." But it's pretty much over for the win, and he's proving that he deserves, like we said, he deserves whatever ride he gets going forward.
Well, he can worry about that another time, but for right now, he's cleared West Bend for the final time. He's about to head onto the Sam Posey Straight for the final time. And as the 1-Up Modified Tour christens its debut at Lime Rock Park, it'll be Christiaan van Heerden making history as the first driver with 2 wins in the Modified Motor Tour, and sure enough, he gets them in back-to-back races. He wins at Lime Rock by 5.3 seconds over Chase James in second. Reyes completes the podium for a double podium for the race team. Ahmed fourth, his first top 10 of the season, and Santiago did manage to hold on to 5th place. He actually charged right back up to the back of the 64 again at the end of the race. If only this race had been a few laps longer for that 54. But making our way through the field, you see where everybody is. You really got to feel for North Pro Motorsports. A slight mistake on the second lap of the race, and they were never able to recover from it.
Yeah, that's a real shame for them. We talked about it already a couple times, but it's you really hate to see that. Meanwhile, on the other end of the spectrum, you love to see what's gone on with Van Heerden as he pulls into the pits to begin his celebration. This is going to be remembered for maybe not for the most exciting race of the 1-Up seasons, but it's certainly going to be memorable as the race that saw Christiaan van Heerden do what he needed to do.
And here's where you saw the slide. Oh my goodness, something must have took place here that we did not see on the live feed, because that was 3 cars going off at Big Bend all at the same time. I'm not sure what happened there. We'll have to get another look at it, but that seems to be a synchronized slide for 3 cars that had all started pretty close to each other. So this was where Dallas Miller was running. He was in 10th place when this whole mess started, and with a stack up between Diaz and Blevins, and that just sent the 2 North Pro cars into a synchronized spin into Big Bend. And Miller had nowhere to go. He plowed into the back of things. Oh man, it was all a chain reaction between Diaz and Blevins. Miller got caught up in that, and that sent the North Pro cars into a slide that they really couldn't control. It must have put some huge flat spots on their tires that they really just couldn't recover from.
Yeah, and that's all unfortunate. Unfortunately, I was kind of a victim of something similar at Watkins Glen in the Superstar race. Had a bit of a checkup go on ahead of me, and a bunch of us just had something really go wrong, and yeah, it happens, unfortunately, but you take what you can learn from that and prepare yourself for the next race. That's all I can say, speaking from experience.
Absolutely, it's all you can really do in any of these situations. But that is going to do it for us from a historic day at Lime Rock Park. It might not have been an all-time classic, but it was certainly rememberable for very various reasons on its own right. But from James Ellison and from myself as well, thanks for joining us from Lime Rock Park. Love this racetrack in all its guises, and it put on a show for these fans who really got a treat today. And next time out for the Modifieds, we'll see you again at New Smyrna Speedway for race number 9 of the season. We're getting into the home stretch now. We're 2/3 of the way through the season. Blevins still holds the points lead by 10 points over the new second-place man Van Heerden, who after back-to-back wins has vaulted himself right back into the championship hunt. So we'll see you guys again at New Smyrna Speedway. But congratulations to Christiaan van Heerden. 2 wins on the trot, puts himself right back into the thick of the title fight. And I'd say anyone who's not considering him for a truck ride might want to reconsider after what we saw today.